Hi, I'm Francesca from Token of Love. I'm going to take you step by step through your exciting 3D casting experience. Open up your instruction manual and look at pages 1 and 2. On page 1 you will see a section on safety and how to do a patch test if you're worried about any skin sensitivity. On page 2 is where you'll find your contents. Make sure you check your contents and you have everything you need before starting your exciting casting experience. How long will the process take? So mixing time will be 60 seconds, making the mould is between 2 and 3 minutes, filling the mould is 5 minutes, and revealing the mould will be 10 minutes. The mixing process can be a little messy. Work in a room where you have a wiped clean floor. Do not do the casting where you have carpet unless you have a plastic or waterproof sheet you can put down. It will not come out of your carpet if you do spill it. It is a good idea to have a table or work surface so you can mix and have your ingredients all laid out. Make sure you're wearing messy clothes. Short sleeves or something that can be pulled up above the elbow is best. Rub your hands and lower arm all over with the petroleum jelly provided. Pay special attention to any hairy areas. As lovely as it is to have long nails in your cast, we recommend having these removed or shortened. These are really hard to mould, and you will find that when you demould your casting, these will break as they are so thin. Make sure you remove any watches and bracelets before starting. Rings, however, can be included. Extremely intricate rings may be hard to cast, but generally all wedding rings and engagement rings are fine. Find your position and have a little practice. We recommend 3 main ways to hold your hands for your casting. The position you choose will also depend on how many hands are in your casting. Have a little go at these and make sure you're happy with the pose that you have chosen. Next, fill your bucket 3/4 of the way full and place the bucket on a flat, steady surface. Make sure the bucket is at a good height for you all to get your hands in together. Make sure you're positioned in the centre of the bucket and your hands go straight down in a vertical position. This will make sure you avoid touching the sides of your bucket and your sculpture will stand straight, not tilted to one side. We recommend going right down until you touch the bottom and lift your hands up 2 centimetres. You want to make sure as much as your hands are immersed as possible. Don't squeeze too tight. When we are nervous, we seem to automatically squeeze each other's hands. This is not necessary and will show up on your casting. Don't be scared of each other. Make sure your bodies and arms are nice and close. It will make it so much easier for you. No touching the sides or bottom, vertical hands, and don't forget to breathe. An apron for the person who's mixing is a great idea. The casting gel sets quickly, so you must work quickly. You only have 60 seconds to mix. Only begin mixing the casting gel powder when you are ready and have read full instructions. 21 degrees Celsius is the optimum temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, make the water on the cooler side so it feels cold to the touch. Just a quick warning, if you use the water above the recommended temperature, it will set faster. The warmer the water, the faster the casting gel sets. Fill the bucket with water up to the filmy hairline. You will be needing 2 out of the 3 900-gram bags of casting gel powder. You will only be using half of the second bag. Add half a bag at a time, so in total you would have used 1.5 bags of casting gel powder. Mix until all the white casting gel powder has disappeared. The casting gel will be a bright pink with a slightly thick, lumpy consistency. Make sure you get your hands into the bucket while it's still a nice bright pink colour. As the casting gel begins to set, it will go from a bright pink to a lighter pink, and once it's fully set, it will turn a grey-white colour. If you see the casting gel is changing to a lighter pink and you're still mixing, make sure you speed up and get in before it's fully set. Make sure your hands are in the position you practiced earlier. Lower your hands until they touch the bottom. Once touching the bottom, lift them up 2 centimetres. Wait for the colour change and your mould to set. It will turn a white-grey colour and it will have a hard, rubbery feel to it. Hands must be removed one at a time. If you have a ring with a large raised stone, remove your hand last. Wriggle your wrist slightly. You can then slide your finger all the way around your wrist to open up a space between your wrist and the mould. Wriggle those fingers gently. You can let go and start to slide your hand out of the mould one at a time. Remember, if you have rings, keep this finger tucked in and lift it out and away from the mould to avoid scratching it. Make sure you're wearing your gloves for this part. Fill your jug or mixing bowl with 1,175 ml of cold water. Empty 2 of your 950 gram bags and 1 of your 450 gram bags into the water. Make sure the powder is spread evenly. Leave the water to soak into the casting stone for 1 minute. You can now start mixing using both gloved hands. Make sure all the lumps have gone and your stone plaster mixture is nice and smooth. When I'm filling my moulds, I always think of it as if I'm pouring a glass of Coke or a pint of beer to avoid fizz. Start with the container at an angle, pour the mixture into the mould, gently tap the bottom of the container for 15 seconds, keeping it at an angle all times. Add the mixture again with the container at an angle and firmly tap the sides and the bottom of the container for around 30 seconds. That just helps all those air bubbles rise to the top. Top up the mould until it's full and continue tapping the sides and bottom until the mixture starts to thicken. Once the casting stone plaster has thickened, simply leave it to one side. Turn your bucket upside down and flex the edges and tap the bottom until your mould slides out. If you're struggling to get your mould out, you can get a butter knife and run this around the edge in between the bucket and the mould. Be careful though not to pierce any of the mould anywhere. Gently break the mould using your fingers and break off small bits at a time rather than using large chunks. If you have a small craft knife, this can help with removing the mould. Take care when doing this and avoid fingers at all times. Work extremely carefully around fragile areas such as the nails and rings. If any parts do break off, don't fear. We can simply reattach these with super glue once the casting is fully dried. For any mould that is stuck between those fingers, rings or hard to reach places, we have included a wooden cleaning tool to help you pick these out. On page 9 of your instruction manual, you have full instructions on how to finish your masterpiece. This will take you through removing air bubbles, sanding your piece so it stands nice and flat, and very importantly, sealing your casting. If you haven't selected to paint your casting, your tutorial has finished here. I really hope you've enjoyed your casting experience. We can't wait to see your photos of your finished pieces. You will only have paint included if you have selected this when purchasing your kit. I'm using an adult and child piece to demonstrate. You can only begin painting the day after you have sealed your casting. Make sure you apply thin layers of paint at a time. You will need to paint 3 coats. Make sure you leave a good 2 hours between each coat for it to dry. Your tutorial has now finished. Thank you so much for choosing Token of Love's home casting kit. We really hope you've enjoyed your casting experience and we cannot wait to see photos of your finished pieces.